Well, geez, it's Tri-City Sports Now. I'm trying to get the here we go again. Trying to get the computer to work here. You know, wait a minute here. Let's get forgive me here. We had a little bit of, the mic was turned down low. This is Tri-City Sports Now. I'm Marky Billson. Getting back to the conversation we had, and just finishing up the thoughts of ETSU. Of course, I think that I talk more ETSU, I think, than anybody else in the market. I know that there's got a lot of people are really appreciative of that too. But anyway, there was big news yesterday for ETSU when Purdue went down. Oh, I hope this works.
Is trailing 63-62. 16 seconds play. Inbound Tate, center circle. Walks it to the right side of the floor. 12 seconds left. Tate high on the right. Ohio State comes top of the key. Tate against Matthias. 8 seconds left. Tate down the left side of the lane. Tate to the hoop low on the left. Layup no good. Tip no good. It's tipped in right to the rim by Keita Bates-Diop with 18 to play.
So now, because of that, Ohio State 64, Purdue, number 3 in the country, 63. Purdue doesn't have the longest winning streak in the country anymore. And now ETSU has the second longest winning streak in the country. Got to hope now for St. Mary's to lose. And to beat the Keydets, yes, the last place Keydets, up in Lexington in 2 days. That'll tie the all-time ETSU record for consecutive victories, which was set by the 2014 with 16 straight. They actually were 15-0 in a SoCon, lost their final game by a bucket to C of C, final regular season game, and then went on to the NCAA tournament and really gave Cincinnati everything they had. But there was, I remember that game so well. And it was a year they picked the ETSU to go to the Sweet 16. And I'm a sports writer for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. And I'm watching this game in my apartment. And I'm, two-fisted. I can remember what I'd eaten and all that. And Tim Smith, down by 3 with 13 seconds left, decides to drive the lane. You need a 3, Tim! There's no play called. It was just, Tim, go free for it low. And Murray Bartos in his first year, he had done the same thing happened the year before to Wake Forest. And Smith became selfish and put up the worst shot in the world to try to win the game. Instead of actually having a play, with 11 seconds left to try to tie or win the game. And ETSU wins. I think they officially wound up losing by 3, but they were down by 2, 75-73. And there was no criticism of Smith in the local media. I was the only guy that did it. And I mean, I was upset. I was writing for Sports Talk actually at the time, even though I was out of town and all this. But no, I can recall that very well. That was the year they won 16 in a row. Next week, after the VMI game, assuming a victory against the lowly Runnin' Roos, then perhaps the most likely loss remaining on the schedule, or only 4 games after the VMI game, at UNCG on Monday. Francis Alonso and company. ETSU will be favored to win, but not by much. Not by the standard 15 points or whatever have you. But a chance. We'll have to look up the St. Mary's schedule coming up too. And I'll get to that here if I write this here. St. Mary's schedule. And so in our next segment, we'll tell you who the Gales have to play. St. Mary. Von Hayes' alma mater. Remember him? There you go. Outfielder of the Philadelphia Phillies. There you go. Tri-City Sports Now. I did also have a conversation with Scott Baker yesterday at signing day, and I'll get to that as well in the next segment. I wanted, though, before we go on here, a couple of things. Just I haven't got a good news. Ryan Shazier, who was paralyzed in the linebacker for the Steelers, paralyzed against the Cincinnati Bengals this past year, is not so paralyzed anymore. He's now out of his wheelchair and can walk, which is great news. Also, speaking of the Steelers, the last reason that I had to really say, you know what, maybe I want to keep Mike Tomlin around, and I don't want to be the Steelers fan broadcasting the show, this sort of thing, because I know every other host does that, and really this has got to be for the 32 teams of the NFL. We're not in Pittsburgh here, I get that, but I did want to say this. I've always liked Carnell Lake. Actually met him when I was 18 years old. Remember, he was a safety, played for them, actually played linebacker at UCLA, moved to safety in the NFL, and during 1995 was moved to cornerback when Rod Woodson was hurt and the Steelers went to the Super Bowl. That's versatility. He also, for that versatility, also played for the Jaguars. For that versatility, was a defensive backs coach for Mike Tomlin. He resigned. And he said he wanted to coach his son instead. And although, the Steelers, their defense was known last year primarily for their pass rush, still, that's the last reason I could really go and say, this is, now I really got the long knives out. I do think that Mike Tomlin is, just when you saw the Steelers play to the level of their opponents this year, the decisions that he made against Jacksonville, I'm kicking myself for not picking Jacksonville in that game. I almost did, but I said, you know what? I just think that Blake Bortles is more likely to throw an interception than Ben Roethlisberger. I wasn't right about that. They're wasting all that talent. Tri-City Sports Now. We'll talk a little bit more about the ETSU football class and who St. Mary's is going to play. All that coming up.
From the backwoods to the city